everyone, welcome back to my channel, Open Heart Healing. Welcome if you're new. I do have a few new subscribers, so very big welcome to you guys. Thank you for being here with me. Most of you, well, I don't want to say most of you, but a lot of you probably leave, but that's okay. That's what happens with my channel. I don't resonate with too many people, and that's all right. That's the way it is. So anyway, I am sorry that I was MIA for so long. The month of August was just horrible for me. It was, I mean, it was fine, but it was one of the toughest months I've ever gone through with the moving from my house to my apartment. So I thought for sure I would get at least one more video in my house before I was done, but no, I was just hustling and grinding to get out of there in time, and I made it, but just barely, and I was a little beat up and bruised and battered from the process. So I have since, you know, recovered mostly. So I was gonna do a video on Saturday. Really, Twilight? Sorry, I apologize if you hear my cat in her litter box. That's something I didn't anticipate happening, but her litter box is like right there now, since I'm just in this little apartment. But anyway, what was I gonna say? I was gonna do a video on Saturday, but then I had a card reading from my friend Pam, and it was so emotionally intense that I was like completely drained afterwards. Like I couldn't even do anything the rest of the day. So I apologize that this is a little, well, it's really late, but it's later even than I thought it would be, just because, yeah. Anyway, I'm here now. We're here now. So I appreciate you. I always forget I could shuffle while I'm talking. So I already, you know, pre-shuffled the decks. So this is the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. So we're just going to try to get 3 Oracle cards and 3 Tarot cards. And another issue that I have is, besides being very hot and now I'm sweating, is there's literally like no Wi-Fi available in my new apartment, so that's going to be interesting to try to do anything. But if you're seeing this video, that's a good sign. That means I was able to upload it with just my cellular data. But I don't know. I don't really know what the plan is going forward. Oh yeah, I forgot I'm supposed to say. I'm a Christian mystic, and so Jesus and the Holy Spirit speak to me and through me. And yeah, hopefully that resonates with you. You don't have to be a Christian, you know, to watch me. Actually, most people who are Christian would not watch me because of the tarot cards, right? I'm really my very own niche, or whatever you call it. I'm very niche, I would say. That's why I don't have a lot of people who follow me and watch my videos, but I love all of you who do. And Jesus loves you too, he wants me to say. Jesus appreciates you being here as well, I guess. Okay. So, I hope you guys are doing well. Please, you know, leave a comment if you're willing to. I love to interact with you and see who's watching and see how it resonates for people. Or you could always send me a private message or an email if you do not want to publicly comment. I understand a lot of people don't like to do that. So, yeah, I'm all moved in. My new apartment, this is my new apartment. I think the lighting is all right. I don't have a lot of natural light in this place, so I was a little worried about that, but it looks good, right? I think it looks all right. Oh, okay. Ooh. My hair is tickling my nose. And then this is the Light Seers Tarot, because we can't use the regular Rider-Waite Tarot deck anymore because of the nudity on the cards. Some of the cards have nudity on them, and YouTube censors that now. Although, I've not heard, I mean, a lot of my old readings have those cards in there and have the banned cards now or whatever, and I don't think YouTube pays any attention to me whatsoever. I've never gotten a warning. I've never gotten a strike or whatever they give you. I've never had a video flagged. I've never, oh, okay, knock on wood. But, oh, well, that was easy. That was fast and easy. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so, whew, I'm so hot, and I was painted my nails before this, so they would look somewhat decent anyway. And oh, this one's got a big. That's great. I just can't win. That's all right. I was blowing on my nail polish to get it to dry, and I made myself dizzy because I haven't been playing my flute lately, and now I probably won't play it at all because I'm in an apartment. But anyway, so I got a little dizzy, and now I'm like hot. I really want to take the sweatshirt off, but I don't want to take the sweatshirt off. Okay. All right, we're going to pick our scripture verse from our daily bread. Oh, no. Oh, okay. So we got a verse from Timothy. The book of Timothy, and Timothy, the books of Timothy, I'm pretty sure those are some of the ones written by Paul the apostle, St. Paul. And what Jesus told me about Paul is that he was a con man, and I didn't have any emotional reaction to that or whatever. I didn't really know who Paul was when he told me that. I'm like, okay, like I'd heard of Paul and Paul's letters to people, and because Catholic Mass, this is the thing, the Catholics, they just read the Paul books that Paul wrote because you know, they're the ones who. Anyway, that's a whole thing. But anyway, Paul. So yeah, but a lot of people don't like that because they really are into Paul and they think Paul is this great guy, and but Jesus was not really a fan of Paul. Anyway, the scripture is 2 Timothy 4:18. The Lord shall deliver me from every evil work. See, this is a perfect example, though, of like how Paul was a con man and he inverted the real message of Jesus, and true Christianity got inverted by the church. They twisted things around because this says the Lord shall deliver me from every evil work. But the thing is, we are supposed to deliver ourselves from the evil. I mean, deliver us from evil. I guess that's what Jesus said too, is deliver us from evil. But it's a choice within our own heart and within ourselves to choose God over Satan, or to choose good over evil. Nobody else can choose it for us. I mean, the divine will assist you when you choose to do good. The divine will reward that, I guess. My ego had a little aversion to that word, but the divine will assist you and help you if you choose to do good. But God gave us free will for a reason, and we have to choose it for ourselves. Nobody else is going to come and save us. We save ourselves. Anyway, and then the second verse we have on the back side here is Isaiah 43:25. I, even I, am he that blotteth out thy transgressions. I don't know it's hard for me because maybe it's better for me this way, but I don't know the Bible, maybe you've heard me say this before, but I'm not familiar with the Bible, really. I went to Catholic high school for 4 years, but did we read the Bible? No, we were not reading the Bible, so that's interesting, right? Also, a little fishy there, I don't know. So I don't know what the context of this is. I don't know. I'm assuming that because he is capitalized, maybe it's Jesus talking in this verse. I don't know. Now I need to look. I'll have to leave this out so I can look it up. I have my Bible's right over there, but to me this is talking about forgiveness, of like God would forgive you of anything, but you have to confess and repent. I mean, God forgives you God forgives you, but you do have to have your part in it, and you have to have some humility and some remorse, right? And to show that to God. Okay. So that's what I got from that. Hopefully that was helpful to somebody. I am like, wow, okay, very, very hot. So a lot of times when this happens, that means I have like the healing energy running through me, and if I'm channeling too, I apologize if I'm all sweaty. I mean, I am sweaty, but I apologize if you can see it. Should have a little fan from now on. I don't know. I've been having this like hot flashes since I moved into this apartment, so I don't know if that's a hormonal thing that's starting up, or if it's something with being in this apartment, like being so close to other people's energies too. And when I do healing, I get really hot. I'll get hot flashes like this. So I think that like I'm doing healing stuff, like energetic healing stuff for people in the building or something. I don't know. Okay, so this is again the Spirit Animal Oracle deck, and we got number 51, Sandpiper Spirit, Be Playful. And then we got number 54, Skunk Spirit, Know Your Worth. Already got a message from that. And then we got 45, number 45, Parrot Spirit, Watch Your Words. So we have 54 and 45, which are mirror reflections of each other, of those numbers, 54, 45. 44, 55, if those numbers mean something to you, maybe. And then we have the 7 of Pentacles. And we have the 4 of Cups. And the King of Swords. So, let me see. I'll pull these down as far as I can. You can't really see. I wonder if I should tip this a little more down. Is that helpful? Yeah, you can see a little more like that, can't you? Okay, let's see. Well, I'm going to start here because I already got a message from this one. The Skunk Spirit, Know Your Worth. So this is telling me how, like, interesting that I said at the beginning of this video, how I'm kind of a niche. Probably have a niche audience of like, I'm not really for most people. I won't resonate with most people. Most people like, I don't know, but I confuse people, or they just don't understand what I'm saying, even though I try to speak like very clearly and plainly. I just saw 1313 on the clock, if that means anything to you. And but yeah, that's what this card is reiterating, that message of never really had to worry about my cat in my readings before, but this is gonna be interesting. It's fine. But yeah, that like, just because even if most people don't like you, that's okay. Like, because the people that you are meant to connect with, and like your soul family, they will love those things about you that like make other people turn away from you. So the things that make people dislike you the most might actually be your greatest gifts, and might actually be your reason for being here. And I know a lot of people are like me in that kind of by design, my energy was meant to trigger people. That's why a lot of people don't like me. I'll say something or just something about me, they just can't stand me. I trigger them and they whatever. But that's by design, like, because that's triggering something within themselves that they need to look at. And so if I trigger it, then it gives them the opportunity to be able to look at that within themselves. And they don't usually do it, but sometimes people take that opportunity, you know, and maybe reflect or whatever. So anyway, so like this, because the skunk has a terrible smell, right? But there are actually some people who like that smell of skunk. I'm very indifferent actually to the smell of skunk. It's a strong smell, but it doesn't bother me, but I don't like it. But I think my grandma might have liked the smell of skunk. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but maybe I'm wrong. But I think there are definitely people who like actually think that's a good smell. So anyway, that's the point, is like, so the smell of the skunk, most people would be like, ugh, gross, and run away from it, right? But there are some people who are like, oh, that smells good, or I don't really care about that smell. That doesn't bother me. So you just have to, I guess, find your people. Just find the people who resonate with you, and if people don't, just wish them well and send them on their way. Sandpiper spirit, be playful, and then I'm seeing the sandpiper's feet here on these lily pads. It looks kind of like she's almost playing a game. It's reminding me of Twister, the game Twister, or what's that dancing game called? Where you step on this thing. I've never done it before, but I think it's called like Dance Dance Revolution or something. So that's giving me the message that it might be a good idea to make some time for playing, especially like games. So I don't know if somebody's thinking about starting up a game night, like a weekly game night. Oh, that would be fun. Or I don't have anyone to have a game night with, but my boys, I guess I could force them to play games with me. They might. Elliot sometimes does play a game with me, but anyway, so that's for me. Would be like that, maybe playing games with my boys, trying to, now that we're in our new apartment, but like for other people, like I said, maybe someone's thinking about having a weekly game night, or just needs to incorporate some more fun into your life in some way. But I'm just really getting strongly like games, so something about playing games, like the good kind of games, not the bad games, not like mind games, like board games. Okay. And then the parrot spirit is, the parrot here is obviously very colorful, and it's reflecting what I'm wearing, and it's reflecting the colors on these placemats that I have down here. So the colorful, so maybe somebody, like this is just colors. I'm getting colors, using colors for like healing purposes. I've said before, but a lot of you didn't watch me when I said that. You know, the different chakras have different colors, certain colors associated with them. And so wearing those colors, or even just looking at those colors, or thinking about those colors, eating foods of those colors and things like that can help you with those things. I'm sorry, I have like I have a hair itching my nose, but I don't know if it's a hair. So the root chakra is red, the sacral chakra is orange, the solar plexus chakra is yellow, the heart chakra is green, the higher heart is pink, the throat is like light blue, the third eye is darker blue, and the crown is purple. So if you feel like there's a certain chakra that you need help with in some way, maybe incorporate the color of that chakra into your daily routine for a while. You know, you could also do art with those certain colors. Basically just like using colors for healing. I'm also being drawn to the crown. This parrot is wearing a crown. The crown. Okay, so for somebody, it's the crown chakra. There you go. We got it. I figured it out. They're trying to tell me in their cryptic way. Okay. So somebody, at least one of you watching this, you might need to work on your crown chakra a little more, like opening it up, which would be purple. Amethyst is good for that. Amethyst, the stone. Amethyst, very readily available and inexpensive. Maybe you want to get a piece of amethyst jewelry or something to wear. Okay. This card also has the rainbow colors in it. That's one of the reasons I like this deck so much, is that the cards are very colorful. And this one also. This one, these colors are like the colors in my living room here that I'm decorating with. Yeah. I'm just getting like painting, art. So somebody maybe should be doing some painting or some art if you're not already. Or doing it healing, like I know you can infuse artwork while you're doing it with, you know, some people do it with Reiki, or I don't really consider what I do Reiki, but you know, I could infuse, if I did artwork, I could infuse it with healing energy. Okay, so she obviously looks bored. I said that weird. She looks bored. And so this is like saying, if you're just bored and you can't think of anything to do, like maybe bust out some paints or a coloring book, something like that would be an option to. People aren't really bored anymore. Everyone's on their phones all the time. You don't even have time to be bored anymore. Although the other night, my cell service, like I said, I don't have Wi-Fi here, and my cell service cut out for whatever reason. It's mostly been decent since I've been here, but it cut out, and like I couldn't do anything on my phone. It was only for like 5 or 10 minutes. It wasn't a big deal, but like at first I was like, I didn't know how long it was gonna be out, and I was like, wow. I just like looked around, and I'm like, oh, what am I supposed to do with myself? Which is sad, actually, but that's kind of our modern life, isn't it? So so I'm getting the message that, yeah, maybe somebody out there maybe you're using, and this probably applies to me as well, using your devices a little too much. Maybe, you know, I think most of us are pretty much addicted to technology and our phones and our devices. So this might be a good idea for somebody to do like a digital detox, a social media detox, like setting limits on your, you know, phone usage. You know, only so much time each day or something, and trying to stick to that. And then looking for other things to do with your time to keep you entertained and occupied or whatever. Meditation is always a great idea. That's what I did when my phone stopped working. I was like, okay, I guess I'll just meditate. So I just sat there and opened up my heart and like felt the bliss of the divine love, and it was all good. And then my phone came back on, and I was like, okay. But you could meditate, again, here playing games, like board games and stuff, or doing art. Writing, I'm getting to. Someone maybe doing some writing. I do want to start writing my book again. I got started on it at first back when I was first talking about it. I did actually start it, and then like Jesus brought in all these people who needed my help, and so I got really like busy, and then I got really busy with the house, getting my house ready to sell, and then putting it on the market, and then selling it, and then moving. So I just really haven't had time. But now that I'm mostly through that process, I could start working on writing my book again. Would be a good idea. So maybe somebody out there wants to do some kind of writing also. Okay, this card is today giving me the message of, again, I know the meanings of the cards, the traditional meanings of the cards, and sometimes that's the message that I get from it, but a lot of times I get a different message because I just get my messages from the Holy Spirit, so, which is basically your higher self. But so the message I'm getting from this card today is, and maybe I've gotten this message from this card before, I don't remember, but it's feeling a little familiar. Is somebody needs to have patience. Like, I'm being reminded of like a meme I saw or whatever on Facebook or something that said, you know, if you plant a seed, you don't like dig it up every hour to see if it's growing. You have to just be patient and trust and have faith that you know you planted that seed and you know that seed is good. And so you know if you give it the right amount of sunlight and the right amount of water and enough time, that it will grow and it will bloom. So somebody out there who's watching this maybe obviously needs to hear this message of like, just be patient, just give it time. You planted the seed, you have to let it have time to grow, because you can't rush divine timing. That's what I'm hearing. You can't rush divine timing, and it will grow when it's time for it to grow. So we do our part. Like, it's important for us to take inspired action and to listen to the guidance that we get and to follow that guidance and to, like I said, take the action that we're guided to take. But then we also have to allow the divine and the universe and God, or however you think of it, you have to allow them to do their part. You have to allow them to, you know, make happen what is meant to happen. But I love how these just really match my shirt, my sweatshirt. That's funny. I like when I'm guided to wear certain things and then it ends up like matching the cards that I pull. I was like, oh, that's why I had to pick this shirt today or whatever. Sorry, got off topic there, but I don't know if there's much more to that message anyway. Just be patient, let it grow. It's growing. Even if it hasn't like broken through the soil yet, it's still growing. I'm also being reminded of, there's a Frog and Toad story where Toad plants a garden or something, and he is really impatient about the plants growing. He really wants them to grow, and he's like, I don't know, I don't even remember how the story really goes, other than like I think he like sings to the seeds and stuff, and to pass the time. He finds ways to pass the time that are like maybe even helping the seeds to sprout. So I guess that's another message. Plants, you can talk to plants and sing to plants, and they can be receptive to that. So maybe if somebody has a plant that's looking a little rough, I do actually. Maybe this message is for me, because when in the move, my plants, I had to get rid of most of them because I just don't have the space or the natural light for it. But I did keep some of my smaller plants, but they're not doing so great from the move and stuff. But anyway, if somebody out there has plants that are looking a little rough or need a little love, like, you can give them love. You can send them energy, healing energy with your heart. You can talk to them, you can sing to them. They are alive, they are somewhat conscious, I would say, and they can be receptive to those kinds of things. It's a lot of messages from one card, huh? I like it. Okay, the last card that I haven't talked about is the King of Swords. The King of Swords is fixed air, is Aquarius. So this is an Aquarius card, if Aquarius means anything to anybody. Or maybe somebody has, Aquarius in their big three of their chart, your sun, moon, or your rising sign. Maybe there's something with that of like looking at somebody wants to research Aquarius and the positive aspects of Aquarius and the negative aspects of Aquarius, because every sign has like a light side to it and a shadow side to it. The positive side, the positive qualities and the negative qualities. That can be extremely helpful in helping you to do shadow work and things like that. That's how I first did shadow work before I ever even heard of shadow work was I just learned what my birth chart was, and I learned that I had that darn Scorpio moon. And I looked at the negative aspects of the Scorpio moon, and that was my shadow. I mean, it was like so much of my shadow was in those qualities. And so just having an awareness of those qualities and that I had that within me was enough to help me to be aware of it and to help me be able to shift it so that I could embody more of the positive qualities of the Scorpio moon. Because the Scorpio moon is very powerful, but it depends on the rest of your chart too, but often can be very detrimental until you learn how to overcome it or work with that energy better and cultivate the positive aspects of that energy instead of the negative. And when the negative things would come up or I would exhibit those qualities, then I would have the awareness and right away I'd be like, oh, I would catch myself and oh, right, that's my Scorpio moon. That's just part of me that I need to work on and continue to work on. And so I just do that and did that. I mean, because I was like 20 when I learned that I had a Scorpio moon, I think. I got the book, The Only Astrology Book You'll Ever Need or something by Joanne Woolfolk or something like that. It's a great book. That's what I'm telling you. I highly recommend that book. I got that book anyway, and that's when I learned what my chart was and my big 3 signs and reading about, the different qualities and characteristics of those placements. And that was tremendously helpful for me, and that's how basically I did my shadow work. And then I just continued over time, over the years, to pay attention to kind of my negative qualities, things that would trigger me and come up, and I would be like, oh, I'm going to look at that. What is it within me that's making me act this way or react this way or do this or say this or whatever, and that's how you do shadow work. So I did not think that was the message when I started talking about this card. That's where we went. So it's maybe somebody needs to do a little shadow work or has heard about shadow work but didn't really know what it was or doesn't really understand it. Yeah, I would recommend like learning your birth chart and starting there and looking at your signs and, like I said, looking at the positive qualities of those signs and placements and the negative qualities and aspects of those signs and placements, and go from there. And you just try to like highlight and accentuate the positives and kind of like mitigate the negatives. I don't know what the word mitigate means. Obviously I've heard the word, but hopefully I used that correctly. Also, there's a crow and a bat and an owl on this card, because those are all obviously flying animals, air creatures, and this is the king of air. So, but maybe I'm feeling there's something significant about those animals in particular. So if the crow means something to you, or a bat, or an owl, or maybe you want to research what the spiritual meanings of those animals are, if you're feeling drawn to any one of those in particular. It's funny that I'm getting the animal messages from the tarot card, not from the spirit animal. But then, well, the skunk, I guess I talked about the skunk a little bit. The bat. When I was cleaning up that's just a little aside story that doesn't, okay, it has a point. When I was cleaning out my garage of my house, I was luckily almost completely done cleaning it out when all of a sudden I heard this, what I thought was a bird flying in my garage, and I was like, oh no, there's a bird. I'm gonna have to get the bird out. And then I saw it, and it was a bat. It was like the late morning time. I was like, I don't know if the bat was in my garage already and I disturbed it, like if it was sleeping and I like woke it up with my cleaning and then it like started flying around. I'm not really sure. Or if it flew in at that time. I don't know. But I have a little bit of a phobia of bats because I had a bad experience with a bat when I was young. I somehow brought a bat home from my grandma in Grandpa's attic. They had this big house, and when we would go visit, and there'd be lots of cousins and aunts and uncles and everybody, whatever, and so, people always had to sleep up in the attic, and usually it was like the kids would sleep in the attic, because it was kind of fun, I don't know. Anyway, there were bats up there. Mostly they were in the back attic, which was closed, but I don't know. Somehow I brought a bat. I know I brought a bat home in my suitcase. And I was sitting on the floor, and my suitcase, and the reason why I kind of knew that was because my suitcase was on the floor open after I'd just gotten home and was unpacking the dirty clothes or something. And so my suitcase was just open right there on the floor. It was just in the kitchen of our house, and I was just sitting there, and like it was summertime, and I had my foot on how this managed to happen is kind of crazy. Like bringing the bat home in the first place in my suitcase, and then anyway, my foot was resting on this washcloth on the floor, and when I lifted up my foot, I guess the washcloth like kind of stuck to my, I don't even know how that could happen, but the washcloth like stuck to my foot, and underneath the washcloth was this bat who was trying to hide, I guess, under this washcloth. And first I thought it was this rubber toy bat that my brother had. And so I wasn't scared at first, and then all of a sudden like it like made eye contact with me and like opened its mouth and went and I was like, oh my gosh. I freaked out, and I'll never forget it. My mom ran into the bathroom with my little brother and sister, who were toddlers at the time. She ran into the bathroom and locked herself in the bathroom with them and left me out there with the bat. I didn't know what to do. I never had to call like my friend who was a neighbor, and she came over like with a tennis racket or something, and she actually I think she killed it. And she was only like a year older than me, so I think that's what happened anyway. That was nuts. Anyway, so ever since then, I've always had kind of a phobia of bats. Obviously, that was not a great experience, and thanks, Mom, for abandoning me with bat. But when this bat was in my garage, I was terrified, of course, and like when I had to go, well, I had to leave for a while, and then but when I had to come back to finish up the cleaning, I like lifted my shirt up over my head because I was scared it was gonna fly in my hair. Like, if you ever saw that episode of The Office with Meredith and the bat goes in her hair or whatever, so I was scared. But when I first saw the bat, actually I only saw the bat the one time, I swear it made eye contact with me, and I swear to you it smiled at me, and it looked like the cutest thing. And then it like kind of like crawled up on top of a rafter in my garage, and I never saw it again. But when I thought about because I didn't have time to think about it at the time. I was so busy trying to clean everything out and get moved and everything. But after a couple weeks after that, I asked Spirit, what was with that bat? Like I felt like it definitely had a message or a meaning or a purpose or whatever. And so I was just like, what was going on with that bat? And Spirit said, that was to help you to heal your fear of bats. Because when I was little and I made eye contact with the bat and it hissed at me and showed me its fangs, and then I was scared. And then this bat made eye contact with me and like, I swear it smiled at me and was like so cute and seemed like friendly. So it was like Spirit told me like that was helping to like 0 point my fear of bats or something. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, so that would be like an aspect of shadow work as well, right? Any of like your healing, any healing work that you do is kind of like shadow work, because healing is usually things that are hidden. Well, sometimes we're aware of it if we have anxiety or something, it's very obvious. But like, I didn't even realize I had a phobia of, I guess I knew I had a phobia of bats because of that experience when I was young, but it wasn't really a problem in my life. I don't encounter bats very often, and I don't think about it ever, whatever. But I guess that was something that needed to be healed within me. And so, like, having that experience with the friendly bat, was like helped me to heal that little wound inside that was still in there or whatever. So interesting. And what also is interesting is I was in that house for 5 years. I never once saw a bat. I was out in my backyard all the time. And I know, I guess, because they usually come out in the evening and the night, and I wasn't really outside much, I guess, when it was dark. So maybe that's probably the only reason I maybe didn't. But I mean, thinking about now, I'm like, thank God I didn't get bats in my attic, because I had birds in my attic. If you saw that video, the story about the birds building the nest in my attic. If bats had gotten in there into my attic, oh, I heard a story someone was recently on Facebook was talking about she had that happen. She had like a group of bats, a colony of bats or whatever it's called, move into her attic, and it was like tens of thousands of dollars or something to get them removed and get it all cleaned up because they made such a mess. And like, I don't think you can kill them maybe or you're not supposed to kill them. I think maybe they're protected, or I'm not sure. But anyway, so then I was just like, oh, I was so grateful. I was like, thank God I only have birds in my attic and not bats, I guess. But I didn't ever think about it because I never saw bats around there. So I wasn't even aware there were bats around. But clearly there were, or there was at least one that was just there to send me on my way with one last healing in my house. So anyway, yeah, I guess that's probably good for messages for today. Thank you for being here with me. If you're still watching, I love you. I mean, I love all of you, even if you're not still watching. But I don't think I remembered to say that at the beginning. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here with me. And I don't know how often I'll be able to do videos, but like I said, with not having Wi-Fi, that's kind of a tricky thing. But I think, as long as I can upload this video, okay, I should be able to do videos like I was before anyway. At least doing a couple a month or something. So yeah, I'm not if you're new here and you're expecting great things from me, you'll be disappointed. I'm not a huge creator, and I don't know. It's just not. I just didn't do very well with YouTube, and I'm not a very good like videographer or whatever. I don't know how to edit at all. So what you see is what you get. It's just me and the cards and spirit. So anyway, but yeah, feel free. I will leave, I always try to remember to leave my email in the description box below in case you ever want to send me an email for any reason. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.